Donald Trump Jr. made a disturbing announcement when he was in Qatar, and this announcement went largely unnoticed in progressive spaces, and it has ramifications for all of us. And this also happened in Qatar, where the Trump administration has been making lots and lots of money. Amid the ongoing plans for luxury skyscrapers, golf courses, and cryptocurrency deals in the region, Donald Trump is traveling also to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates this week, not only as U.S. president, but also as a patriarch of family whose business empire continues to expand in that part of the world. He's making tons and tons of money off the presidency. I'm not letting up on this. I don't care if you get sick of hearing about it, because we have to keep talking about it, because the corruption cannot be normalized. The Trump projects in the Middle East, many of which have been announced but not yet developed, largely involve licensing agreements with foreign developers that have partnered with the Trump organization and paid to use the Trump name. And while past presidents have divested their businesses or put them in so-called blind trust to avoid appearances of self-dealing, Trump has taken a different approach. His assets are in a trust managed by his children, and his son Eric Trump, executive vice president of the Trump organization, has said the business is walled off from the office of the presidency to avoid any ethnic conflicts. I have a picture, actually a clip, that's going to completely undercut that. And it's also said here that the Trump administration, the Trump organization had announced that it was going to do no new deals while Trump was president. It says that right here. And while the Trump organization in January pledged to make no new deals with foreign governments during the president's second term, a recently announced deal for a Trump-branded golf course in Qatar includes a firm back Qatar's sovereign wealth fund. So they're lying. They're lying, but that's what they do. They lie. And I also want to point out that Donald Trump is making lots of money from his meme coin. And folks are showing up to this dinner, this Memecoin dinner, where they paid at least $1 million to meet with the president for access. When you're a billionaire, that's nothing. And they're also embarrassed about doing it. One of them showed up wearing a mask because they didn't want to be seen going into this dinner. They didn't want to be exposed. Insane. Insane. If you are at least going to do that, like, have the balls and the courage to show up with your face out. They obviously are terrified of the ramifications of this. And I guess that's a good sign that these billionaires don't feel like they have complete power, that they can just walk around and do naked corruption in front of the American people. At least they feel like they have to cover up their faces. I guess that is my silver lining with that. And remember in that report where I said past presidents have divested their businesses or put them in so-called blind trust to avoid appearances of self-dealing, and that Eric Trump has said that the business is walled off from the office of the presidency? Well, what do you notice here? This is at Trump's Memecoin Dinner.
What a nice place. Did you get to see the helicopters?
Yeah, super cool.
Good seeing you. Covered up pretty good. I don't see a lot of window here. How do you like this location? Pretty good.
Nice. It's great.
Yeah, so that's Donald Trump greeting the guests for his $1 million dinner. And that's the office of the presidency. That's the seal of the office of the presidency. So he is doing unofficial business and corruption with the complete seal of the presidency behind him. It actually makes me really upset and kind of sad that this is what's happening, that the president of the United States is doing this. And then that symbol is there. It's been totally desecrated. Like I said, there's lots of self-dealing happening here in Qatar, in our country. The Trump organization is really just a vehicle for corruption and money laundering. And while in Qatar, Donald Trump Jr. was asked about whether or not he is going to run for president. And his answer was not very hopeful. for at least us.
After President Trump steps down, would you consider picking up the reins? Would you run for office?
Here we go. Well, oh boy. Well, it's an honor to be asked and an honor to see that some people are okay with it.
Those are just our friends.
Yeah,
in the front
that's
row,
probably
by the
just
way.
a couple people
It's
we know.
The
That
team,
must be,
that's
those are
like
the
three
tickets
people
we got.
yeah, that's it. Right.
You never know. Right now, this has been my focus. I think it's not just about government. It's also about, the business sector doing that. I think when we saw, again, the woke ideology that has taken over corporate America for the last, decade or so, being on the forefront of combating that insanity, I think is fundamentally important. I think those two things have to go hand in hand. So the answer is, I don't know, maybe one day, that calling is there. I'll always be very active in terms of being a vocal proponent of these things. I think my father has truly changed, the Republican Party. I think it's the America First Party now, the MAGA Party, however you want to look at it.
After President Trump.
Yeah. So Donald Trump Jr. there, not dismissing a question where he's asked if he wants to run for the presidency. CBS News really just took it all the way there. It said, maybe one day he'll run for president. Maybe one day he'll run for president. I definitely, all right. Actually, here's one thing I wanted to say. This is my silver lining in all of this, is that if Donald Trump Jr. is saying that maybe one day he'll run for president, then that means that one day there will not be a Donald Trump presidency. Okay? How's that for taking a turd sandwich and adding a little bit of sugar and spice? Yeah, I don't know. Obviously this is a long ways away, and who knows whether or not this will happen. I do think that Donald Trump wants to hand over power to only a person with the last name Trump. And I think Donald Trump Jr. is nothing like Donald Trump in terms of his charisma, his ability to attract media attention. I mean, this announcement happened 2 days ago, and this is the first time you're hearing about it. I live and breathe the news, and I had no idea this happened. So Donald Trump Jr. does not have the same power or capacity to draw attention, and I think that's not a bad thing if we're on the side of the good guys. So let him run. Let him run. And we will see, I'm sure, all of his bad habits, let's just call it that, come to the forefront. But like I said, this is a really long ways away. And I suppose the silver lining here is that Donald Trump Jr. is admitting that his dad can't be president forever, whether or not Steve Bannon or Donald Trump want to say the same thing. So there you go. There's so much corruption. There's so much nonsense, but I'm at least grateful that we're able to revel in it together. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.